Well, now, like many sectors, arts and entertainment has been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The lockdown in South Africa meant artists could not perform on stage or at events and make a living. Now, actor and producer Stallone Santino has compiled a book called Creators on Creating, an Antidote to Uncertainty. It's a collection of 19 essays by South African artists about the pandemic from their personal perspectives. Well, he joins us now to discuss his book. Stallone, a very good afternoon. Thanks so much for your time. And I have to ask, why a book to highlight the plight of our creatives and our artists?
Hi, Uveka. Thank you so much for having me. So the idea came about because of the pandemic, and what this has done to artists really has affected artists in many ways. Artists have lost their jobs, have lost their incomes, and really have lost their livelihoods. So the idea for creating this book was to shine a light on the industry, showing South Africa what artists have been experiencing as a result of the nationwide lockdown.
All right, so without giving away too much, tell us a little bit about what we would find in these personal perspectives, these personal stories of hardship over the past year or more.
Well, artists have really experienced the worst through the nationwide lockdown. So in this book, you would find stories of depression, stories of confusion, heartache, and also stories of hope. Now, these are human stories that really are reflections and essays that go through the journeys of these artists and what they've been experiencing by not being able to create anymore, by not being able to make an income. And I think it's quite a stalemate, because these artists were not able to make money in order to protect themselves from this pandemic. And so this book is really going to show you exactly what artists have encountered in the past 12 months.
Is there any particular person, is there any one or any entity that they blame in these stories of sort of personal hardship? I mean, and we know for the longest time they were rallying government saying, you need to support us, arts and culture, you need to come to the party. So can we expect to see a lot of that, or are we just looking at maybe ways of them sort of dabbling with how they can reinvent what to do now, the what now for themselves as an industry and a community?
Well, I think what you will find is that a lot of artists do bring in the government, because the government was slow in rolling out funds for artists. Now, South African artists depend largely on funding from government, and even though through the Presidential Employment Stimulus Program, these funds were made available, but of course this is a controversial issue right now, where artists are finding themselves at a place where they are unable to create, even though there's these issues in terms of funding for artists. So you will find that artists are struggling with funds in order to create like they used to.
Are things not getting a little better now, though?
Well, the curtains are slowly lifting, and we see that artists are dabbling in the online space. But the problem that we face is that not all forms of art can work in the online space. So theatre, for example, which relies largely on audience engagement, it's a live platform. So you might be able to bring your art onto the online space. However, the problem is, how do we monetize the art? And so I think this is one of the challenges. So yes, things are looking better, and there is hope, but of course there's a lot that needs to be done. And I think also we really need to start changing the way we see the arts and how we view the arts, because the arts was regarded as non-essential work, despite how integrated the arts is in everyday life. And I mean, we wouldn't be here right now having this conversation if it wasn't for the arts. So a lot needs to be done, but we are still holding on to brighter days.
All right, so apart from giving these artists the actual platform to sort of vent and let us know what it is and reveal just what things have been like for them over this very difficult time, how else does this book actually help them?
Well, the project is twofold, and like I said, through the Presidential Employment Stimulus Program, we were able to, put this book together. So we are very grateful to the National Arts Council, as well as the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. Now, besides sharing the stories of artists and bringing to light the struggles that artists have faced, we do have a campaign called Cash for Creatives. Now, this campaign is going to raise 1 million rand for artists. So every book that is purchased will go back into the art sector, giving back to the artists who have been struggling. So we do hope that the public can get involved by purchasing this book, available on all online platforms, as well as cashforcreatives.co.za.
All right, thanks very much, actor and producer Stallone Santino, just putting the struggles together in something tangible where we can see what our artists have been going through. Still